diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Right, let's remove that. Would you like to intro?
Of course. Hello, everyone, wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Patriots Across the Pond. This is our Saturday family chat with Stu and Elisa. And for anybody who is currently watching, you are more than welcome to join. We have the link that you can join our StreamYard in the Rumble chat.
Right, and we are not live on YouTube. That is not working.
No. Okay.
No, so that's going to have to be uploaded afterwards. But Rumble is working. So is Facebook. It's going out to my Twitter. Is it going out to your Twitter?
I got to check. I didn't check. I'll check.
All right. It's just not going to YouTube.
Very strange that YouTube isn't working.
Well, the thing was, if you set it up originally with that first link, it's my fault. I gave you the wrong link.
I don't think I did.
If you set it, if you did, it's a different link now. You would have had to go in and do it again. So
when I signed on, when you let me in, it showed that it wasn't streaming. By the way, we're live on X too. That would be for right now. That's Elisa and Valentino on Twitter or X.
Well, anyway, we're live on Rumble, and that's the main thing. So everyone's in there having a wonderful time. Chats are on the screen. People are commenting. So we've got two people already, Misty and Donna. Yo.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate this.
Well, everyone's invited. Let's move that away from Misty's face. There. Yeah. How are you? Misty, how are you?
I'm doing great. Trying to have patience with the MAGA normies that are losing faith.
Yeah. Donna, how are you?
I am good. I'm so excited about April 25th and 26th. Things are really coming down to the wire. There's a lot of behind scenes that Elisa and I and you, of course, and the rest of the team is working on. And I just was at the venue and I met with Veronica. A couple little changes I'll talk to Lisa about later.
Okay, good
but
stuff.
It's very exciting. It's going to be magnificent. And I'm just so happy that the wonderful group of distinguished speakers are going to come and share their knowledge and open up the concept of maybe what's happening in the world. And for us, of course, for all of us that are attending and speaking, the bottom line is we're beautiful human beings here on the planet. And unfortunately, there's another sort of being that's here that wants to attack our children. And I find that very strange that we live amongst this gorgeous planet Earth, and that along with us here, there is obviously an appetite to harm and hurt our children. So I think the more we bring it out with preventative care tools, the more people realize if you're an adult, we all have a responsibility to become aware and what can be done about it. I mean, this is the time to do this. Everyone who's a boomer, basically, between like 35 and 70, all are aware, basically. But I don't think there's enough tools out there, enough information coming into our school system, joined together as a community to bring the awareness in and the preventive care. There's a lot of kids that go to school that have a changed personality, and maybe the staffing maybe isn't as in tune as they can be. And unfortunately, I do believe, because I have a conversation on Monday with a very lovely woman who's dedicated her life to bringing solutions and preventive care to children who've been attacked or victimized by the horrors in the world. And I don't believe in my heart that anyone who is a pedophile, who is a neighbor or some weird uncle or aunt or whomever the person is, that had an appetite to hurt a child is of our descent. I think they're part of the darker world because we're not doing things like that. It's not natural for us to want to harm another kid, a baby, a child, or even anyone who's vulnerable, you know? So I think if you have that appetite, I think you're linked to the subculture, the demonic evil that goes after our kids. And I think this is what the awakening is about. You know, I don't want to wear out the word awakening, but it is that. It is really the awakening of knowledge and perception of, oh my God, I mean, that is true. Like we're living on this beautiful planet, and yet there are individuals that are targeting and hurting our kids. And that's I go on a rant, so I'm sorry for that.
No, it's
No,
true. We were talking about that
perfect.
yesterday with Renee. We were just talking about, and then we were taking it a little bit of a step further, which I do think, Donna, being here on Long Island, like you, me, and maybe some other folks in Nassau County need to start figuring out a task force here.
Yes.
Because what's so dismaying that we all know is we always thought it was like some, crazy horrible person on the other side of the tracks, or people of color or whatever that are poverty stricken and doing drugs that's doing this. And then we find out that it's a lot of really wealthy establishment white males that are violating children. So we'll talk more, but yes, the event is going to have some locals there that are going to talk to what we're doing here. And then of course we're going to have people like Laura Worley, who is even though it's in a little bit of a different lane, because she's going to come from the perspective of being part of a satanic family, and where this is more of their culture, if you will. And but it's all the same, because there's still ways that we need to be aware of what's when it's how to pick up the signs and then what to do from that point. So yes,
Yeah,
we're gonna have
I'm
a
with
great
you
event.
on that, Elisa. I think too that we have the freedom. There's a lot of loving, kind people in our community who now can use more of these words. We call it satanic because it's incomprehensible uh, behavior. But I don't think that they're of the human light, God's children, just the currents of your energy that's loving. I think these people are evil. They're not made from the same mechanics that we are. Their operation is to attack the kids and kill them and do horrible things. And yes, we have people being motivated and they hear, and we're all aware about trafficking. And it's been on the news for years that America is almost the number one purchaser and harming of these kids, which is bizarre to
Yeah.
think that this beautiful country, America, I think we have like a subculture going on here, like a line of people who are in a different orbit from us. I really I don't know what else to say, because here we are functioning and putting on these shows and becoming grassroots, and we're talking about things that are very uncomfortable. But you know what? We can be uncomfortable. Everyone in America and around the world, in the universe, get used to being uncomfortable with what you're hearing, because it's our responsibility to bring the love of light in. All the podcasters bring it back around to not having hatred, division. They did a great job with the marketing tool of creating a television, which marketed millions of people with a narrative. Okay. None of us were aware. None of us. I don't care how long you've been awake. No one was aware when it first came out that TV was just their marketing to reach masses of millions of people, okay?
Yeah.
And because we're so innocent and loving, we didn't even think that that was a concept. So yes, they put out trafficking is happening. So they use it and they try to make it that, and it is true from what we hear, if you're impoverished, uneducated, or abused yourself, it's unfortunate. You may tend to do those things. But there are, unfortunately, a lot of people who have been victimized, have been exposed, that follow the love of God. They
Mhm.
follow the love of God and they don't repeat that. And that's the message we want to bring out, that you're a loving human being and you would never run over an elder lady or run over a kid. That's not in your design of concept. Then we have to realize that there's something happening right in front of us in America. Well, let's just stay here for the moment because we know it's global. Let's just stay focused in America, Long Island, New York, that we have police, attorneys, elected officials. So ask me why we don't have arrest. That is the big question. Ask me why constantly people doubt our voting system. Why is President Trump, fan or not fan? That's another way that they try to divide us and make us think we have hatred. Who really on this panel right now has hatred? Most of us are loving and kind people. That's a narrative put through the marketing tool. Let's remember the TV is a marketing tool and it's out to make you think less of what's happening. But if it's going on and our security of the people that signed up or we voted in to protect us, the citizens and our children, something's missing. There's something wrong. We need to look at why the arrests are not happening. So we need clean elections. We need people who are voted in, our police force, our firemen, our port authority, all the elected officials that are here to protect the citizens of the United States of America, okay? America and around the world. We have to bring the difference here in New York because New York is a very powerful state.
Yeah.
And if we can wake up and share in as a community that kids are being killed, raped, and horrible things, and there's obviously a different species living amongst us. It's right in front of us. What do you think about that?
Yeah, 100%. Our whole job is to reverse, along with the military and Trump and people, is to reverse what that television has done to everyone over the last 70, 80, 90 years,
Yeah.
and newspapers and stuff before that. And I just want to say to everyone, the awakening is uncomfortable, but everyone that's not yet awake or awakening and not doing anything, it is going to get more uncomfortable for you until you get involved and fucking start using your voice.
Yeah.
Right?
And I want to add, what you said, Donna, like the kids, there's no questions about the children, but let's not forget there's lots of women who are trafficked and used in awful ways and prisoners. This is a human problem. Like it's obviously the kids, there's other things they're doing with them and they're using them for, and it's probably a grander scale. But where are they getting the kids from? They also have breeders. Okay, they have tons of women that are kept prisoner, sex slaves. So this is just a global human problem that we have to eradicate.
Yeah,
If I
exactly.
if I can add, one of the things that Renee said yesterday is naming conventions, especially if you've been in marketing. If you name something that is sugarcoating something that's evil, it makes it, in my opinion, really not get to the people that are in denial that it even exists. We need to call it for what it is and be blunt about it. And that message has to be brought down to the county. In the country, like in the mountains where I live, for years, it's been known, if you ever seen the movie Deliverance, inbreeding and pedophilia within the family exist in all over the place. In addition to, when they're having the NFL, the Super Bowl, that's like the number one day that sexual trafficking of children and women and young boys are being done. I mean, that's when it's taking place. which is why I boycotted the NFL and Super Bowl a long time ago. Not that I was a big fan of it to begin with, but I was like, all the more reason I don't want to be involved with it. And on the county end, like in our case, because we only have 10,000 people in our county, I speak to the sheriff once in a while, and there's been complaints of animal abuse or neglect. And I brought up to him about the new executive order that Trump passed, and his comment to me, and he's a nice guy, and but he definitely doesn't know about this movement, was, well, in the state of North Carolina, they would never prosecute somebody for animal cruelty under that law. It just won't happen here. And I thought to myself, here it is, President Trump has signed this into law, executive order, and you as a sheriff who should be upholding all the laws are going to just look the other way and pretend it doesn't exist. And if they're doing that to innocent animals, it's 100 times worse for children. And a lot of soccer moms don't want to hear about, adrenochrome, a child being anally raped, a baby being raped. They don't want to hear that because they're like, it won't happen to my kid. And whether you're a parent or not, I feel as a citizen, you are obligated to protect all children. Just like if your neighbor is abusing an animal, you should be taking measures to report it and shine light on it, because it should not be allowed. It's inhumane. Like Sharia law is inhumane. Those are not humane values in Sharia law.
Yeah. You're muted, Elisa.
Sorry about that. I was typing. When I type in the chat, I shut it because it's too loud. I think what's going to happen, honestly, look, that guy might be a nice guy. We don't know what he does. We don't know what
right.
he's done.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right? He might be beating the shit out of his dog. Like, we don't know, But the point is, these people aren't going to have a choice as things go further, because the more and more it starts coming down to people like us who are aware, and the community that's aware, people are going to start taking matters into their own hand. And I don't think they want that. If you can't get the right result from your local law enforcement agency for someone who's harming, let's just use animals right now. Somebody who's a real animal lover and, is inclined might go over there and beat the crap out of these people. So I don't think they're going to have a choice as time goes on, as more people become aware of what these laws and rules are, and whether they want to protect their cronies or they just, that's really what it is, right? Let's call it what it is. It's about cronyism. Like, I know Jim and I go skeet shooting together, and I know he beats the crap out of his horse, but, I'm not going to tell on him.
Yeah. And
you're not going to have a choice soon.
Right. The accountability is so selective. And then there's the people, well, they don't want to make waves. And it's like fraud is right in front of your eyes. I'm very encouraged that they're stepping up the gas pedal on the fraud, and then they're offering a 30%, reward if you report fraud. And unfortunately, the population is motivated by money.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about the marketing through the television and the innocence of humanity. I think they put it out in front of us for years. They're telling the truth all the time, but in a different way, not so obvious. I think America can handle any truth they want to give. And if there are people who can't, it's a small number, because America is strong and loving and very powerful people. And we don't want a civil unrest, and we don't want someone going to beat their neighbor up because they beat up a horse. Yes, passionately, you may have that idea in your head to resolve it, but that doesn't resolve it. That's why we want to make it a peaceful, loving transition to awakening your consciousness. So,
well, I'd have to disagree. I think if some people started getting, hung on the town square, or they got the shit beat out of them for being cruel to an animal, I think you'd see a lot of it stop. because
and
people
that's a good point.
Understand love and peace. It never will.
Because
And
look
if
at
they
what Leah
arrested-
Dundas, if we had her on the show, and she was talking about the way they used certain measures in some of these counties with pedophiles. And when they did, I think they had two things that they did. One was that they put their face front and center with exactly what they did and shamed them that way, or whatever you want to call it. And then they made a nice little phone call to the wife and said, by the way, in case you're not aware. So I think, Donna, the people that are motivated by love aren't causing the problem.
Right.
No, of course not. But
and they're not solving it either. I mean, we do have to be loving to each other, but when you have people that will do very evil crimes and it's being overlooked, there's only one language they understand. I mean, if what they did to that child was not so bad, well, then they shouldn't mind having it done to themselves.
Right.
I guess an eye for an eye. You're going in that direction. Yeah?
I mean, you could, because we've been so brainwashed with religion. It's like, oh, the 10 Commandments and thou shalt not do this. And it's, to me, is it justified? It's like when I see a parent that, takes action after their daughter or child and stuff has been raped or an attemption of it. And, they either beat up or kill the perpetrator. I mean, to me, that's justified. It's self-defense.
It's an act of passion and total bewilderment. It's a terrible thing for any parent or relative or neighbor or community or school system to lose a child like that.
Right.
The point here is that we could talk about this for a long time. It's how do we reach the grassroots? How do we reach the communities? Because podcasting's been on since COVID and before that, and the news networks, but now we're resonating with a lot of local people, a lot of average people. And yes, and it's well designed that we're all so busy and expenses in life that I can't even, how do I volunteer? How could I even be part of this? I just ask that everyone make it their goal in their lifetime to find a way, and we'll help with instructions and we'll help you build your own grassroots system to make it your life's goal to bring awareness to what's happening to the children, and ask yourself why we don't have arrest. We have to look at the political parties on both sides. We have to look at our local elected officials. Something is preventing these arrests from happening, and that we need to find out, because with that, it's going to probably be more unpleasant to find out some of the truths. We know what that might be, but the rest of the world isn't thinking that way. And that's the goal of these conferences that we put on. This is the goal of your live right now.
But Don, I'm not really sure that I would go completely out on a limb and say that arrests are not happening. I think this is the kind of thing where you want to do it a little clandestine, because you don't want the pedophile down the street going into hiding and then popping up. You want to do it in a very stealth way that, they don't think anything's happening. What I think we need to do on a grassroots level is to figure out how schools, airports, public places are making it more visible that this is going on, whether it's signage, whether it's, phone numbers to call, whether it's like, that's where I think, like even Renee was saying about the airport, it's very, it's very clean the way they have it. Maybe it doesn't need to be clean. Maybe it needs to be very specific. When a girl is alone, she's very vulnerable. You're very vulnerable. How many girls are traveling through airports and this and that? Like, you're very vulnerable. Don't talk to don't talk to strangers. Don't get enticed for things. Like, I think the education has to be there, and the education has to also be in the schools. And that's like a whole other thing, because we know the corruption that exists on, with the schools, and and hopefully that will start to change too with the dismantling of the Department of Education. And but Stu, I want to say hi to Timbo, but then I want you to weigh in on this, because we're talking from America's perspective. How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing great. How's everybody on this beautiful Saturday?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Hi, Tim.
It's beautiful.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Awesome. It is beautiful out.
Gorgeous. It's a blessed day.
Yes,
See, there's beauty in the planet, right?
It was many years ago, an older gentleman, I said, he said, every day above ground is a beautiful day.
I think Pitbull said that too.
I find people who get depressed over their birthdays very strange. I think it's very strange to be depressed that you're alive another year. And you have so much to look forward to. I think it's a weird mentality, but that's part of the marketing too, right? Getting old sucks. I mean, you're going to be dead soon. Let's look at some of the institutions. You want to go crazy. These facilities that house our seniors that paved the way here in our country is a disgrace.
Yeah.
It's such a disgrace to have no regard for your senior citizens, your military. I mean, we have to look at the medical concept and how the citizens view seniors and handicapped people. You know, seniors and handicapped and people with mental illness is all part of our world. We coexist. So what does it say about us as a human being, a species, that you can just step over your fellow man or woman on the street, or you can just lock somebody up who maybe did a fantastic job as a teacher or the best baker or a really strong soldier, and no one is having regard for them. They're in these institutions and they don't even have visitors. You know, I happen to have a relative who's in a facility. When you walk in those corridors, there are people that go to their door of their room just to see someone walk by. You know, we have to be more aware that they just want to have a conversation. They don't even talk to anyone. That's a crime. That's a conscious absentees that we have in this country. Just like the pedophilia and the child raping and all the other craziness. I mean, we are living in a place that allows that people believe that you can rip a child out of a woman and it's okay because you just didn't want it. We are living in a society where boys and girls and men and women think, I don't have to respect and honor my body when I share it. I'll just do it. And if I get pregnant, I'll just rip it out of my body and it's okay. The whole concept is so distorted, and it was done on purpose through the marketing tools because we were innocent and didn't think along those lines. Well, those days are over. Thanks to shows like this. Stu and Elisa, thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, I have a theory about the military and the way the system so horribly treats them. These were the men and women who voluntarily stepped into the position to fight for freedom and honor. And these are the ones the system doesn't want to be strong and doesn't want. That's my theory, is that is part, it's changing, but that is part of why those are the first ones you want to get rid of. And because they're the ones who volunteered to fight for freedom and honor, and whoa, those are enemies of the system just because of that. So we don't want them back feeling good, feeling strong, because that's the system's biggest enemy, and that might be a contributing factor why the system disrespects and treats them so horribly. Just a theory.
Yeah, I have a theory too on that. I think the alpha men in our country here in America, probably global as well, have been so attacked in the last 40 years.
100%.
I mean, you want to take the people that want to fight for their country. Think about the bravery and the courage of that man's thinking. I'm going to protect my community. I'm going to volunteer and get rid of the enemy. So we were told through the marketing tool, right? You're right. Let's get rid of all of them. So if that's the case, but it was worse than that. You have fantastic men that have silenced themselves. So they don't even think they are aware that it happened, some of them. Let's look at something profound. A few years ago, it was all over media. Everyone had comments about opening up the girls and the boys' bathroom to whatever mixed mentality it was. I'm a girl, I'm a boy, whatever all that is. How come we didn't see every father, grandfather, male community, teacher, political party saying we will not allow a man in a little girl's bathroom? Why was that not such the movement? So that for me was a trigger of them being suppressed because you need your dad. You need your uncle, your grandfather. Men are not women. And men have an energy and a mentality that women do not. We have our own strengths, you have yours. But where were they? Why did that happen?
Well, Donna, in all fairness, the media wasn't giving the coverage, but we did see through, our own, whatever it is, like memes and videos and things like that, and I remember very specifically, I think it was one of the memes or something said, if a man goes in the bath, the ladies' room, when my little girl is in there, who thinks he's a woman, he's going to find out very quickly that he's a man, and so I think you had more probably that were, but it was suppressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew about it because we were following all this ridiculous nonsense, but then the voice is being suppressed, and then you have this ridiculous narrative about male toxicity, toxic masculinity. Everyone is what's the other word they use all the time? I can't think of it. My kids used to use it. Misogynistic. That's another one. Now, granted, there's a lot of asshole men out there, just like there are asshole women, but by and large, and then of course they took matters even further by, affecting the testosterone, like screwing up men with the water, screwing up women so they couldn't conceive as easily. So I like to believe that a lot of those systems, and that screwing with the food and the water is starting to go away now, and so we're gonna, maybe you got a generation or so that's really screwed, but hopefully we're going to get back on track. But that's part of why we wanted to have this event too, because we have a whole huge panel of alpha males, discussing this issue. And that's why I keep saying to everyone, it's great that women want to come to these events. You need to bring your husband, you need to bring your brother, you need to bring your adult son, you need to bring men to these events. They need to know there's nothing wrong with them if their instinct is to be a man.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that not everybody's a leader. Not everybody wants to make that step. Yes, if we give instructions on where to show up, I think people would come. I don't think leadership is powerful in America anymore. Not as it used to be. Like enlisting in a war with 9/11, how many boys and girls enlisted in that? I mean, too many, right? To find out the sham of that, if whenever that should even come to surface. I mean, it's devastating. My uncle, my favorite little uncle in the whole world, my uncle Jojo, was killed in Vietnam. And it was devastating to his mom and my dad and all of us. Such a beautiful boy. And to find out it was just all a hoax to some level is, there's so many levels that affect all of us, right? I see 90-year-old men with their World War II hats and stuff. And I always go, I'm a chatter. So I go up to everybody and I thank them for their services. And they don't really need to know if they don't know. I'm not going to get into the schmeal of what we think's going on about war. But the fact that they did that, and they should be so honored because they were so innocent and they were so brave. And these kids were 16, what were they, 17, 18, and 19?
Kids.
A whole different breed of men than they are today. I mean, I had a snowstorm here in New York. We had a good 2, and I needed help. And I asked for help, my neighbor's kids. And I said, what's going on? Oh, they tried, but it was too much. So they gave up. Kids today. Well, I'm from Queens. I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. And if my kids ever came back to me and said that, I said, get your ass outside and learn your endurance. You go shovel that. Don't come back in until it's done. What do you mean it was too much? How is your kid going to learn what too much is if you don't help that child know how to build its own endurance to deal with a situation? That is such a product of a lot of kids today. And I feel that all the 20 and 30-year-olds that are so lost, and do they believe that there's a better future? They went through a school system that none of us did. They see the world completely different than we ever did.
Yeah, that's very true.
Completely different. So what's their motive? What is their skill set? They took out from the schools like the parochial, the shops teaching you about like basics that you need to know. I don't care if you're making $1 billion a year, you still have to know basics. So you learn it now, you learn it at 40. That's what I always said to my kids. Don't hem and haw. You learn it now, you learn it at 40. Let's do it. And they're very self-sufficient. But if isn't that our job as a parent or as anyone in the community is to help people be self-sufficient? Like they're very compartmentalized. It's not their fault. It's the system in which they were.
Oh, she's gone. Yeah, 100%. They have. That's why they've taken the education away from the parents, and they don't want kids learning skills that they're going to use in life. They want to be indoctrinated into a system where they learn, repeat, and obey, and that's it.
Yeah. And you know what it is? They shame the parents too. Like,
Yes,
I remember, with this, look, I'm not in favor of bullies. So,
they fine parents as well, didn't they, now, for taking the kids out of school to go on holiday and things like that.
That I don't know, because I took my kids out like 35 days one year to go to travel to all through Europe. So I said, fuck you. But what I do see is like with this bullying thing, listen, I was bullied in the 6th grade. I had to go and meet this girl. I'm not going to use names. And I had, with all the fear I had, I was like, I'll meet you back here at the schoolyard after school. And I was scared. Okay. She showed up. I showed up. She got in a punch. I got in a punch. And then she had to leave. And then she was my best friend after that. Okay. We sorted it out. We worked it out. And now is that. What?
She was your bitch after that.
So after, what I'm saying is my kids go to school and they're telling me about kids that are bothering on the bus. Well, we're not supposed to have a fight. And we're not. I said, listen to me and I will deal with the fallout. So don't worry. Somebody puts their hands on you. Somebody intimidates you. You have my permission to do whatever you need to do. And if that means you got to slap this person, I said, then you do it. I said, and I'll worry about the bus company and the school and the principal. I said, now, fortunately, it never came to that because I think it just empowered my kids a little bit, and they never had to get in a fist fight. But now they're telling parents what to tell their kids and how they should be. And then social media, God forbid you put something on social media, right? I don't know why people feel the need to put everything they feel on social media, but nonetheless, then they're everything is public now. So it's the last, I'm going to say 15, right? Like 15 years, things got really, really strange. And if I could do it all over again, I would have homeschooled my kids.
Social media, people, this is the thing you see, some people do have quite sad lives. So they live half of their life or maybe more of it on social media. And it's about likes and little, bits of respecting and makes them feel better about their day and that sort of thing. But, if we do have some sort of internet shutdown, these people are going to be fucked. Whereas most of us will go, oh, thank fuck for that for a bit. We'll all go out and have a walk and not worry about things. Hopefully the EBS is going off at the same time while they're all shitting their pants.
But I think too is that, look at that, what we just said, social media. I think it's about absentee parents that are forced to do dual jobs, maybe 3 jobs. The children are brought into some facility that they're raised from 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, let's just think about a stranger's raising your child.
That's right.
You're there as much as you can be, but it's a very different upbringing from where we come from. A lot of children don't see their parents as much, and when they do, as much as they're loving, parents are very stressed out. And so they do escape. I don't know this. I'm not a therapist. I don't do any studies in it, but it seems that a lot of the young culture uses social media as their love and guidance and approval methods.
That's
and
true.
They copy each other, almost like cloning. Like they're not individuals in thought and their confidence that they're lovable. It's about being accepted because they're missing something. It's all part of the narrative, separating the nuclear family, dismantling the alpha male, making your children more vulnerable to social media family environments because they are missing. You get some sick bastard out there that penetrates your child's social media. I'm telling you, that's how they get a lot of these kids. So there is so much to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like everything we knew, how we thought and how we got to be where we are today is the gift of why we're on this panel. It's the gift of why we're together, because we have a sense of knowing, and it's universal. They're all like, anyone coming to the our event in April 25th and 26th here in Lynbrook, New York. It's a wonderful educational spiritual connection, because we know the difference, but the other people were raised very different from us, and they're the most vulnerable, set by design.
Yeah.
If we can penetrate that vision or their concept of what life is, that's the breakthrough, because it is a well-designed machine to break us up as civilians and families. This is a well-designed program that's been in the works for, if you want to go biblical, okay? There is no excusing or wondering why we are all on this show right now, because we're doing the work that we were designed to do. We're following our gut instinct, our spiritual awareness, and we want to make a difference to all the, like a group of 15, 20 years of kids that are going to be our leaders in the world. How are they going to lead if they don't even believe that there's a future for themselves? So that's why I think we're here. We can go into every aspect of food and medical and political. And, I visited a country that is very, very peaceful recently. No noise. Extremely respectful. And it was just something that their country believed in, respecting another person. They believed that their energy is connected to the earth that they're on, to the food that they eat, and just a wonderful experience. When I came to my country, America, which I love, I could hear and feel it, all the energy of rudeness. And we lost, how many people say, did anybody get raised with manners anymore?
Right.
Where are the manners? How do you not hold the door? If someone holds the door, you say thank you. Why is that even missing? The road rage, the think about the millions of people who sit in traffic for 4 hours a day,
I know.
voluntarily going to a job away from their family. Another well-greased machine, okay? Look, it's right in front of us. And I'm not saying that we tomorrow are going to change everything, but we are definitely going to be making a lot of changes here because of the love and commitment we have. What do you guys think?
100%.
Totally agree.
Totally
Yeah,
agree.
there is a lot of change going on. However, that saying from Q, your choice to know, it'll be your choice to know. There's many, many normies out there. They don't want to know. And in my opinion, they're going to have to do something, and maybe not just one direct hit, but multiple, where people are going to have to pay attention and they're going to have to listen. And maybe that's EBS. That rumor's been going around for so long, it's hard to believe. But I really, at this juncture that we're in, there are still too many brainwashed people that cannot see the forest through the trees, no matter how ridiculous Trump's statements can be at times. And they are parroting things from the mainstream media. They don't want to unplug with it, especially older folks. If they can't watch it on Fox News, they're not going to go to Rumble. And then the ones that are on YouTube, they don't understand that it's censored and there's a lot of garbage on there. Not that there's not garbage on Rumble, but I think with Rumble, you get more of what's real, if you will.
Yeah. Exactly. I just want to play you a quick video because this is absolutely brilliant to what the best thing I've seen in the last couple of days to what we're talking about now. It's only a minute long.
Have you ever noticed how some people question everything and others never question anything at all? Same world, same information, completely different reactions.
Did you say no
it's
sound?
not about intelligence, because plenty of intelligent people.
Did you say there was no sound on it?
Okay.
In the beginning, but it picked up.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I can hear it
Oh,
too.
right.
Have you ever noticed how some people question everything and others never question anything at all? Same world, same information, completely different reactions. And it's not about intelligence, because plenty of intelligent people still don't see it. So what is it? Because once you start questioning things, you don't just question one thing, you start questioning everything. And that changes how you see the world. It can be uncomfortable. It can feel isolating. It can pull you away from what felt normal. And not everyone wants that or is ready for that. Because staying asleep is easier. Everything stays predictable. Everything makes sense. At least on the surface. Waking up doesn't give you comfort. It gives you awareness. And with awareness comes responsibility. So it's not that people can't see, it's that seeing comes at a cost. And not everyone is willing to pay.
Spot on, that is.
Absolutely.
True.
Yep, that sums
So
it up,
true.
huh?
Hey, Donna, you mentioned something about the older people. I don't even want to call them elderly. It sounds so negative, but people that are older. I was watching a Substack yesterday with Lara Logan and W. E. Griffin, who wrote the creature of Jekyll Island. He's 93. Oh my God, was this guy vibrant? Stu, did you have a chance to watch any of that?
Which one?
The one with Lara Logan and Griffin?
No, I've got it saved. It's 2 hours, isn't it? So
yeah, but the point is, this guy's 93. He is so vibrant, and she said to him, you're like coming close to 100, and you're still going. He goes, oh, I got a lot more things to do.
There you go.
He it's forget about what he wrote, forget about his knowledge base, right? Because it's vast. These are the people we need to get out front and center to kids, to everybody, to say, like, because they've brainwashed us too to think like just be so focused on your age. And I think there's a celebration about born days and that you made another year, but I think it's also a trap because they want you to be focused on that number. Mm-hmm. So if you're telling yourself every day, I feel like I'm 30, I look young, you're telling yourself all these things. You're like, giving yourself these affirmations that your telomeres are expanding and all these things, right? And then all of a sudden it's your birthday and they're like, oh my God, we can't believe you're 60. We can't believe you're 70. Like there's a shock, like, oh, I am. And then there's that expectation that they've told us all, your knees hurt and your memory goes and all the nonsense that they've told us, that we know there are cures, that we know it's because of nutrition. We know it's because of this, that, or the other thing. So I think it's a double, it's a little bit of a trap with the whole, birthday thing. But, if you guys have a chance to catch it, I was like, holy shit, this man is unbelievable. He felt younger than people that I know my age and in their 50s.
Yeah, I agree with that. I became a senior citizen about an hour ago. Mm-hmm. And what I never really got triggered by birthdays, but I find, I don't know why I'm so sensitive these days. I'm just so worried and so sensitive, but I feel for this time in my life is the most important time in my life ever. It's such an important duty and commitment and such an awareness that I feel like this is my sole purpose, was all to get here. I mean, I've been very fortunate with being a mom, and I'm blessed with being a grandmother, and I have my health, and I'm surrounded by loving people. They pat me on my head. It's going to be okay, Mom. And my neighbors pat me too. I'm surrounded by all of that as well, with wonderful people, and that's fine. But I think we could, if they were to promote how exciting it is after you did your idea of what you were supposed to be doing in life and you're here living, you can really discover what your true purpose really is. It's an igniting purpose of being alive because you're doing it. It's the most unselfish act you can do. You're dedicating your time to the community to be helpful. And there are so many wonderful, well-bred, educated people who just got a minute of their life to breathe. Hey, wow, I can do all this and I can still be functional, still have stress, get a flat tire. Life will still happen with you, but being a senior citizen is the most rewarding accomplishment you can come to because you've done a lot and you have that much ahead of you, and you bring so much to the table. And yes, they sell you all the medication products. You're getting old. Oh my God. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh my God. They don't, you're going to be dead at 50. Look at the limits on Social Security and look at the catastrophic coverage of Medicare. This conversation goes to so many levels.
It does. And who says that we're senior citizens? See, my
Right.
belief,
Yeah. There
my
you go.
belief is that we are just coming out of adolescence when you hit 50, 55. Because if the frontal cortex of your brain isn't fully developed to 25, 26, what does that say? Okay.
Right.
And then they want you dead. So why do they want us dead so young? Because now when you get past that egocentric part of your life, right? You're in your 50s, you're in your 60s. That's the time that we can do the most amazing things and be creative and have a calm and have a presence that we maybe weren't capable of in our more immature years, right? But what do? Oh, you got to start going to doctors and you got to do this and you got to do that. And then all the years of jabs and food and air and everything else is caught up, right? Do you know how many people my age are going to doctors all the time? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't
For
go.
anything, for the slightest little thing.
Yes, that's true.
And they have to. You're not going. You didn't go for your this exam, and you didn't get your annual that, and no, I didn't, because if something was wrong, I'd know it.
I want to build on what you said about, but there's also with the more miles traveled down the path comes knowledge and wisdom.
Yes.
And your emotions tend to, myself, I can only speak for myself, and going through this experience, the controlling of your emotions and the giving things thought to be able to share that with the proper words, that's what they don't want either, because there truly is every one of these grays hard earned. And now I find in life, I've been pretty much a introvert. I was the firstborn of many, but I find it rewarding and spiritually enriching that my younger siblings now and certain people come to me and ask questions, or my life is incredible right now, but wisdom too is something that they would not like to have shared and passed down from experiences gathered and lessons learned. So that's another thing why they don't like old people.
Yep.
Wait,
Absolutely.
hang on. I was muted. There's not one of us in this on the screen here, and there's not one person in the chat that doesn't actually believe we all came here for this time now to be part of this awakening movement. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've often thought the concept of a soul contract when I first heard it mentioned quite some time ago. I could see it in the spiritual realm. I'm sorry, I think this is funny.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to check out that Earth thing? What do you mean? It's a ride that you go on, and you arrive there knowing nothing. You just blank slate, and then everything is twisted. There's lies, there's deceit. They put this thing on you called a name that you carry through, and it's just a messed up ride. But a lot of people, yeah, I'll go check it out. Why not?
Elizabeth April just put out a video earlier, basically saying about all the people that are leaving. Their soul contracts are done. A lot of the people we're seeing passing away, and she's talking all about soul contracts. Quite interesting.
It's an interesting concept.
I did want to ask you something though quickly, because as soon as we have a new guest on, i.e. Donna, and we've flown, 55 minutes already into this show, we always ask them just to talk about how your awakening started and your journey. If you want, can you a little bit, Donna?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Yes. I think anyone who is part of this universal movement, I think our energy is connected. I think you always were that way. I really can't say that I wasn't instinctive and following my gut from the moment I had a consciousness that I was aware of it. I mean, I've always followed the messages I got, and that's why I reached out to Elisa, because I was getting pounded with constantly about the East Coast, Long Island, and I was like, how am I going to even get that going? how does this even happen? And so you reach out, the energy connects. Obviously, here we are, Lisa, Stewie, Joe Rosati, and of course, Matt Geyer, and all the wonderful people that are joining us, and our guest, and every single podcast and every viewer. I don't think it's by any mistake at all. So I've always followed my gut instinct, which I think is my strongest pull to my creator God. That's just how I think. And I believe that I made subtle changes in the school system that were because they happen easily. Well, you got to hem and haw with some people, but it happens. But it wasn't on selfish purpose. It was not going to benefit me. It was going to benefit the children. When you bring the concept out there that's not selfish, you're not selling anything, people are drawn to you and it resonates. That's just how I live my life. And then I was getting pounded about these conferences with, say, the Danny Henderson conference, where I met tremendous amount of people who were connected. I was in an environment with over 1,000 people. I felt like I was home. I felt like I was where I belonged with the energy and the openness. And then that was the worst thing I did, because now it just doesn't leave me alone. Now it's like it's undeniable. And I feel like the purpose that's, I don't know, but it pulls me in a direction. And I don't really question it, because anytime I went against it, I learned the hard way. So I just follow that gut instinct. I share just my experiences, what I feel things are. And that is really what happened. Stu, it's not really, I didn't have a near death experience. I don't see, well, I do see some things, but I never was afraid of it. I just thought it was natural. I don't know. And I can read people. My wiring system is so sensitive. I have a read. I think we all do when you're really, getting more connected to your gut vibe. Okay. And that's really it. It's a simple story. I'm a simple person. I don't have any formal public speaking in me. You guys want to push me to speak at the conference. You're killing me here.
You don't need
But,
any pushing, Donna.
well, you know what it is? I'm Donna from Brooklyn, lived in Queens. Now I'm in Nassau County for a lot of years. And I think I'm going to resonate with a lot of average folks. I'm not a formal educator in any way. I kid around with my kids. They came home, said, "Why don't you speak 2 languages?" I said, "What are you talking about? I speak 2 languages. I speak a little English and a lot of slang. You go home, you go back to school and you tell your teacher that." But I am what I
I
am.
speak jive.
So it's not my ego. I don't want to know about, I don't really care what someone is thinking of me, if I misspoke, which I probably have many times. I just want to reach the average people who say, I really get Donna. I mean, what I really feel her, because when we have that, that's the hope. So everyone here delivers your message your way, because you're reaching that many more. So I don't worry anymore what I look like, what I sound like. I just know the goal is so much more important than the ego or any of that, I don't know, negative thinking. It's such a strong energy that I know it's the right thing to be doing at this time in our lives. And that's it, Stu and everyone.
Yeah, amazing. Just to let you know, we are live on YouTube. Another feed's gone through, so that's good. And just to let you know as well, because people were talking in the chat about it, I set us up a Truth Social account as well now.
Oh,
you just did that while we were on?
I did that at the start of the show, yeah, because I was just sitting there thinking, I'll set one up later. Then I thought, what if someone goes on there and sets one up with Patriots across the pond? I couldn't do that, so I had to get in there and get it done.
you're so good,
Wow.
Stu.
Very
You are a
impressed.
talented man.
Thank you.
Can't wait to give you a big hug in New York.
Oh,
Cannot
yeah,
wait to
a
meet
bit
you.
more than that.
We're gonna have a ball. Everyone's so psyched about coming. I have to say, right? Right, Elisa?
Yeah.
Everyone that's coming, everyone's messaging now, or getting their flights locked up. And wait, tell me again about the hotel Matt guys paying for what days, and what will my balance be? And I can't wait to meet you. I've never been to America. I've never been to New York. I mean, and they can't wait to share with the community. I mean, we have so many different subjects coming up, don't we, Elisa and
We
Stu?
do. We
I mean,
do.
it's such a broad level of speakers that love our universe we live in and want to make a difference. And I'm so grateful for everyone coming in like that. And it's so wonderful. It really is encouraging. Just so
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be fantastic. And, you know, and it takes on a life of its own. Obviously, we just finished the speaker schedule, right? And then you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, that's the thing with these events. You know, it's on paper, like this is when everybody speaks and this is the order and this is the subject matter, but we have a lot of panels at this event where we're actually going to have a lot of interaction with the people that are there. You know, it's not going to just be like speaking to, yeah, there'll be some of that, some education, some information. But I think it's also, we tried to put a lot of panels where people can interact, ask questions, and be part of the event. You know.
Well, Elisa, you are a wonderful administrator. You put that schedule together.
You.
No, you have. Like, you need to get credit for the
Thank you.
fantastic work that you're doing. I mean, I would be hopeless without you and Stu and Joe and Matt. I mean, that's just what
We
it
have a
is,
great
right?
team. We have a
We
great team.
are. And the room is very friendly and accommodating. The speakers, I'll talk to you later, but I think we're going to have a very interactive environment, a very warm setting where people can maybe speak to the speakers. They can walk around the room, very interactive. I'm
Yeah.
very excited about it. I am.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to say to Elisa, I feel exactly the same because we at Patriots Across the Pond, I do all the production, all the videos and thumbnails and all that, but Elisa does all that other stuff and, you know, all the Substack and everything. And it's amazing. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does. And, you know, Stu is giving me all this credit, but I would literally die if I had to set up these StreamYards. And he just had, like, if I didn't have him reminding me, like, did you do this? Did you do that with some of this stuff? I'm like, oh yeah, I got to do that. So it really is an amazing team, you know, and we have a great assistant too, Jane, who helps us.
I'm grateful for you because you make things sound like it's not a lot of work. You turn around, she's doing a schedule. You turn around, she's sending massive emails. She has wonderful writing skills. I mean, she's just so fabulous, and she makes it seem so effortless. No, I'm not. You need to. I want to tell you this. I want the world to know how fabulous you are, Elisa, and we are all so grateful to you. Honestly, thank you.
Well, this was your vision, Donna. So let's never forget that, because from the time you were sending me texts asking me for people's numbers and wanting to put an event together, and then here we are at, you know, the second event's coming up. So, like I said, it's teamwork. But it looks like somebody had the bravery to come in here today.
I love bacon.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't want to show my face yet.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's lovely to see you here. Welcome.
I love listening to you guys. I really respect you, Stu and Elisa. Especially you, Elisa. I'm a girl like you. I'm not from New York, but I'm very boisterous. And
that's me.
I'm the oldest one in my family. Nobody's awake.
Yeah,
I have 3 daughters, and they're in their 40s, and they're not awake.
So
my daughter.
Tell us about how did you get to this community? Like, what was your awakening moment, or have you always been awake?
Well, I woke up in like 2013 because pharmaceutical drugs hurt me. And I couldn't believe when I went off of these antidepressants and benzos that they even made such a drug. And I was so pissed off. And I went looking for all kinds of answers. I'm seeing that the FDA, that all these people from those pharmaceutical companies sit on the board of the FDA. I mean, I was digging into stuff way back in 2013. And then when COVID hit, that was a no-brainer. I already knew they were trying to kill us because they tried to kill me with their damn drugs. But I've been off those drugs for 14 years, but I do have an emotional issue. You know, I cry a lot, but
not really an issue in my mind. I think that just, if more of us,
I think it's called releasing.
Yeah, it's purging.
But now I have a 40-year-old who's going to have a baby, and she didn't think she could have children. And she's not awake, and I'm so worried for this baby. Like, I don't know what to do, you know, like, I don't know how to approach her.
You know, this is a tough situation. Now, I'm going to say something that people may not agree with, but I kind of think that there's more going on behind the scenes that that maybe this baby, regardless of what they do, isn't really going to be affected. I just can't make sense that an entire global alliance is out there saving children and babies and people, and they would still allow the poison to be
It's
put into their
111
baby.
or it's 11/11. Thank you for saying that. It's true
It's
then.
April 11th, 11/11, even more.
Whoa.
But I decided it's out of my control and I'm not going to think anything bad. I'm going to, but I am going to tell her what I know and then just tell her it's up to her. But my kids at first were telling me, just shut up. They would tell me like 6 years ago. But I would never shut up, you guys. I'm not the person that shuts up. I'm the kid at the dinner table that never shut up and got smacked in the mouth because I went too far.
Me too.
I will
Oh my
never shut
God,
up.
You're like soul sisters. My sister used to go, is she going to keep going?
I know,
Is she
same with
gonna-"
me. My brother
She's
would tell
gonna
me, come
take
up.
the slap, and I would take the slap, and I'd get this from my Sicilian father, which meant get away from the table and go to your room. And I was like, all right, another night, another slap. What are you gonna do?
I know. I had a twin brother, and he'd say, God, come up for air. He'd say to me,
God
That's
bless.
because,
interesting that you have a twin and you
well, he
polar
died.
opposite.
He died in
I'm sorry to hear that.
2017. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
sorry.
He had
You know,
mesothelioma of all things. And I don't know if he got the asbestos from like being in Air Force barracks or he was in Korea for like 8 years when he was in the Air Force. And then he was just a mailman in LA. And he came back here to live with us back in Ohio. We're shocked because he was in California all those years. And he died a year later. He had mesothelioma. But
sorry
anyway,
to hear that.
that was the beginning of my. Then the next year I got divorced. The next year my dog died. I mean, then the next
Oh,
year was
wow.
COVID. And oh my God, I've been on, like, I can't believe I'm still here. But I'm a fighter. I told Stu, I'm a
You know,
fighter.
you know what helped me with having my children and realizing that they came here to have their own path just like we all do, and that I don't own my kids. They're here to live their lifestyle out. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
know.
I had to find peace with that, that their purpose is separate from mine. And I just had to surrender it and love them and continue loving. I can guide, but they're going to do what they need to do, just like each one of us have done and will
Yeah.
do.
My oldest daughter is a teacher. She's 45. And everything I told her, she's already discussed it back in college. She tells me, like, she couldn't believe that all this information's new to me. Not that she's awake. She used to discuss this stuff, when she was in college. But I thought, man, where was I hiding? Like, I'm 66 now. I didn't really wake up till like 6 years ago. But I never heard any of that because I didn't go to college. But I don't know. It's a
I
crazy
don't.
world, you guys.
That's an interesting point. That was they discussing it amongst their friends, or did they have a panel, a
She
discussion in
said it was
class?
just everybody would discuss everything that I've told her about, like just every conspiracy out there. Not that they're conspiracies.
I just find it strange that so many kids that were in universities and local colleges or community settings for an education were exposed to that and still came out unconscious. I think that's outrageous.
Well, she's a teacher.
But
Uh,
I think about what you're saying. Like we all are aware of this, right? They have the knowledge, they know about it, they can tell you, yes, I'm aware, and yet have a shutdown in their open-mindedness. It's just a wild thing that we're
well, the
It's
thing
so
is, they
wild.
don't want to know. They're too busy. Like my middle daughter, her and her husband are nurses. I've told her all this stuff. Her kids are 14 and 16, my grandkids, and they're aware. They've seen the Epstein files. And they pick out pedos all the time. Like, that guy's a pedo. They'll say,
Your
like,
grandchildren.
yeah, they're 14 and 16. That's my middle daughter's kids.
I think it's that generation in between, like like I had my kids late, but like that age between say 33, 30-ish to like maybe 45. They got smashed in the middle, and no matter how much you tell them, they just have this view that everything is a conspiracy theory.
Mm.
And it's so frustrating because I think that was also the generation a little bit that everybody got a trophy. So
The millennials,
yes,
what I was
they
gonna
think they know everything.
they sure do.
They are so opinionated. They really don't know shit, quite
They
frankly.
think I don't know anything. And I
Yes.
know everything. That's what I tell them. I know everything.
But your grandchildren, see, I would say almost bypass your children, because your grandchildren sound like they are absorbing it in a different way, and they have eyes to see.
I got excited about that because I thought they're going to wake up their parents. Thank God,
Yes.
you know.
Or not.
So, or not. You know, my brother, I have a brother and sister, both got vaccinated. They don't pay attention to nothing. They're into sports. They're into their money. They don't, you know, my brother went and got vaccinated immediately. He's 64, just so him and his wife could travel. God forbid they couldn't get on a plane and go somewhere. And the plane never did ask him if they were vaccinated, you know, and my sister didn't do it right away. I begged her not to. My mom is 86 right now, and I begged her back then. I pleaded with her with like desperation in my voice not to do it, and she didn't do it. She told the doctors that she didn't trust it yet, and she never did it. Can you believe that? Even though she's not awake, she believed me with my voice and the way I pleaded with her not to do it.
That's great.
I know. Saved my mom. She's still alive too. She lives in Scottsdale. She's got a great life, even though she's getting very old.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Cut little comments here. We are with you. I love bacon. Pat Blair said, "Where in Ohio are you?"
I live in Geneva, which is Ashtabula County. It's right by Lake Erie. I'm about 3 miles away from Lake Erie. I can go there every day and get a tan if I want to, and I never do. Because I'm retired. I'm just so bored, you guys. I don't know what to do. I want to get out there and use my voice, because I know I have it for a reason, but I don't know how to do it yet, and I'm very shy. Even though I used to be a bartender and everything, you know, when I'm in person with somebody, I'm not shy. But I don't know why I'm shy getting on like these videos.
It'll happen.
Well,
It'll happen.
I have a lot to say.
You're on now. You're using your voice.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous right now, you guys, but this is the first step, conquering your fear. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, you've got a beautiful voice as well. And maybe Pat is quite close to you, because Pat's sent us a couple of emails. And
I could really use a friend around me. The only person I know awake is my friend from 9th grade, and she lives in North Carolina.
Yeah. And
her and I know exactly.
Another one here as well, Deborah. Me too, 66, and woke up 6 years ago, the same as you. Now, I will just say that obviously we do this show, and we have people on, and it's live like this. But Jason Q does a We Not Me chat, and it's more private. And
when I heard Jason Q 6 years ago,
so
the minute I heard him, I knew I was part of that soul family. Like, he was on Dr. Dean show, and COVID had just started, you know, and I don't know what it was he said, but I broke my neck to follow him, you know, and I found him. So
Pat's in Athens County. I don't know if that's close to you or not.
Probably not. It's probably in the middle down there somewhere. I'm so far north. I'm only an hour from the Pennsylvania border.
Oh, okay.
Very north. East.
Well, you can always take a ride to New York.
I know, I'm very close to New York.
I think you should do that. I think you should come to the event.
Yeah.
Well,
get in your car.
I have a crappy car.
It really energizes you. Like it bypasses your intellect, your thoughts. It just becomes very emotional, connected, and you're obviously, we're all family. We can say that very clearly.
I'm still overcoming stuff. Like, I got divorced 8 years ago. I've never been alone in my whole life, and I'm loving it. But yet, I was so scared at first, you know, because I've never been alone. But then I realized it was me that took care of me all these years anyway. It wasn't him. Right. And anyway, so to go places by myself is very scary. And plus, my car is older. I don't want to break down because I don't have money because I'm on Social Security. Anyway, I have a daughter. My nurse daughter helps me all the time, but she puts money in my bank account all the time and texts me. I'm like, what are you? I love you, I tell her. But anyway.
Well, they're not awake, but
not awake, but they love me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I never shut up, darn it. Like they were telling me, just shut up, they would say, you know, 6 years ago, because they did not want to hear it. And I never would shut up. I might have backed off for a little bit, but I speak my truth.
I get told that all the time, but I will never shut up. And if the people I'm talking to don't want to listen, I'll go and find someone else to bang on to about the same thing or something different. But yeah, I don't just have. I can't just have a normal conversation talking about the weather.
Yeah, I don't even want to make
I
friends
think
with
this is
anybody
our
that's not awake.
normal.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree
we
with
are
you.
having our normal idea of conversation. This is where it's normal
Yes.
for us. It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, you have to communicate, you have family and work, community. So I find less is best in verbiage, unless I get a sense that the person wants to chat. And generally, they're flooding with information, and they're so happy to meet someone that they could say that to. So, but I think that there's no going back. There's no not knowing. There's no not learning. It's impossible now. We
I
are
know.
each other's family, and if you're fortunate enough to have at least one person near you that you can pick up a phone to and chat or talk about something, it really does help secure, because it's very isolating when you first speak about these things, because we are a minority, but we're really the majority. But the
I know.
maybe we'll call it the people who aren't as aware, we call them sleepers or whatever we say to them. We all were somewhat asleep somewhere, and we learn as we're doing this. And there's hope, there's hope out there.
Yeah.
But
I lost friends, that thought I was crazy because I cried about this shit and they don't even believe it.
well, of course,
And
that's all part of the isolation with
I
being
do want to tell you one
awakened.
more story and then I'll be quiet.
Sure.
I had my car fixed about a month ago, and the owner of the shop's daughter was in, and she gave me a ride home and back. It was real close. I'm right across the street, but I said something about a libtard or something, and oh my God, we started talking, and she knew everything I knew about spiritual, all this shit. I'm like, and she gave me a big hug before I left, and she goes, "Now you know somebody." And I
There you
asked Alley Cat,
go.
"What does that mean?" She goes, your frequency. You're calling in your soul tribe." She told me, and I got so
Exactly.
excited.
Yes, 100%.
So if there's somebody in my neighborhood, not that I am friends with her or talk to her or anything, but I get my car fixed there and she's awake like I am. And I thought, I mean, that day was the weirdest day to me, just meeting somebody out of the clear blue like that.
Well, I
And
actually think that's a kind of like a affirmation for you to become friends with her.
I know.
Friends don't they come in all different shapes and sizes. They
And she's
surprise you all the
58.
time.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Uh,
maybe you want to reach out and have a cup of tea, or take a walk, or sit outside and
Right.
chat. She may need you as much as you need her. So, make that happen. That's very important. That's part of your purpose right now.
And I
You
was
know,
asking
you,
Alley Cat, I said, "Is that a mirror? Am I mirroring myself?" And she said, "No, that's your frequency. You're calling in your soul tribe."
I think she's very good for you, actually.
I like that
Yeah.
Alley Cat. You guys know Alley. You should have Alley Cat on your show. She's so knowledgeable of the spirituality stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
we
she's
love it.
welcome on. What is Alley Cat
She
in a
watches.
welcome name?
Pardon me? Yeah, she used to be in with Jason Q. She lives close to Jason, but they had a falling out. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
She was
bless her.
watching their cats or something. Something happened, but
Oh, well, no,
she
what? Oh,
yeah, her
yeah,
name
yeah.
she's got a YouTube station, Alley Cat. Try and get her on. She is awesome.
Yeah, well,
I hope you.
everyone is welcome on. I mean, the invite goes out many places, and everyone's welcome to come on.
Hmm.
That's the whole point of why we're doing this show, because it's brilliant. And you meeting that person, that's not coincidence. That's a synchronicity right there. And we're all isolated, but you lose a lot of friends, but you find a new family. And I mean, this is why I wear memorabilia all the time. I've only got to go down the supermarket wearing a Trump was right about everything hat, and I might get 100 looks of people going, but I might get 2 people down there going,
Right.
ones I
Well,
want
I
to
was
speak.
just
No,
in Manhattan.
I'm
I
in.
went to
I
a
know.
show. I was in Manhattan, and I was meeting my daughter and my granddaughter. So I arrived in the city with my other daughter. And when she goes, Ma, turn around, look at the man with the red hat. So I turn around. I sent you a picture, Lisa.
Yeah.
He's a Chinese man from Canada, and he had Trump was right about everything. And he was so nice. I took a picture with him. And go to find out there were bomb threats in Canada for the play. It was the Xinjiang Chinese, beautiful, beautiful play. What a peaceful, gorgeous play. And there were people in there with tags on telling us about the communist regime that suppressed this beautiful dance of the religious Chinese spiritual people. So it was a very interesting day. And so, yeah, wearing the Trump hat and doing things like that, like him or not. Remember, it's not a political party here that we're talking about. It's about the subculture of people who are doing the most evil on the planet. So both parties are responsible. No one's our hero. We're our own heroes, and we're pulling together our energy, and we're hoping and praying that the administration that we have in the country now, like or not, is dismantling some of the harm. And maybe a lot of the food dyes and products have been taken out of processed foods, and maybe the air is cleaner, maybe the water is purer, maybe all the vaccines have nothing in it. Maybe the COVID, we lived through COVID globally. That is a fascinating scheme they put together. Come on,
Sure
think
is.
about
Woke
that.
me up. Yeah.
Think
I
about
thought
that
to
they
myself,
had the
no way.
power, but they had the power to lock the world down. Some of us didn't go, some of us did, but it really brought out the fear in people. It's the fear of dying. You know, when
It
you
made me
talk about,
fight.
I don't want to learn, it's because you're afraid of death. You don't know, what
Yeah,
does that mean to you, dying? I think it all comes down to the fear. You live in fear. I mean, the people that, come on, if that was a chemical warfare, we'd be all dead.
that's right.
Let's just look at it logically.
No,
And the
and
fact, yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
no, I
Sorry.
was gonna say you're right. Like, remember the knuckleheads just lined up to get tested? They didn't even have symptoms. Or people lining up 6 feet apart to get jabbed. I
No,
I I know you guys understand this, but I
Yeah.
literally felt like I was in the twilight zone. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna survive this because it's
It's true,
so.
Elisa. 3 months in, I told somebody I believe that I don't even believe it's real. And she told me to get the F out of her house.
I had a
Well,
friend.
I mean,
it
we
was
have to look at a very important fear mongering and the reality for some people. There are individuals, I know some, there are medical staffs, I know some, that did witness what you did hear about. Now, the numbers weren't as, I can't say the numbers were as big or not. I think a lot of it was so many, so many things were happening with COVID, you know, keeping people safe off the streets. I think there was a lot of movement happening then on a whole different scale. But people did get passed down protocols on what to do with symptoms. That is the truth. They were told to ventilate people with respiratory colds, whatever you have, which we have all the time,
After
and the
giving them
protocol
remdesivir.
and a higher dose, and had patients on their backs. Now we know where our lungs are. I'm not that bright, but I believe my lungs are more towards my back. So if you're putting me on a ventilator and I have to breathe, and then they were isolated. I mean, going into a hospital setting is already a low vibe. Then you're isolated. Then you're afraid what COVID is, and you're not feeling good. Then the nurses and the physicians, and there are a lot of wonderful nurses and physicians that since the protocol was different from what they've ever done, because they get coded. There's a code, they know what to do, and they revive people a lot of the time. A lot of people leave the hospital healthy and well, okay? So, what happened in our complete hospital administration? What happened there? Why was there a news media? What was going on? I think it was to make you terrified of that you
Yeah,
could die by inhaling air. So wear a mask that cannot help you, and it's only going to absorb your own spit. And if you're, I couldn't believe it that I was looking around with people with paper masks and thinking that they were not going to die from this virus or I mean, come on, it's coming in your pores anyway. That was never going to help you.
well, my
I
middle
And
was
it's
daughter, the nurse, her and her
yeah.
husband, he's a flight nurse for on the helicopter. He saves lives every day.
Oh God.
They knew not to take that vaccination. He helped all his buddies fill out the paperwork to get exempt because he's smart and he knew how to word it right. And he didn't vaccinate their kids or anything.
oh,
But
thank
they're
God.
not awake, mind you. But they did tell me, everybody knows this. Once you're put on a ventilator, you're a goner. You're not going
Mhm.
to come back from that. You know what I'm saying? They know that it kills your lungs immediately. So what
Well,
you know,
I can't. I really. I have to listen. They're going to bring a lot of lawsuits in. There's going to be a lot of interviews with the physicians of every level, every medical level, whether you're a pharmacist, a PA, MA, nurse, doctor. I don't care who you are, and the CEOs and the board of directors. Okay, are already probably most likely uh, in a court system right now, and a lot of people who aren't aware are going to be getting uh, uh, what do you call it when they you have to go to court because they're going to have to be
Subpoenaed.
interviewed, because if someone died with that on their death certificate for COVID, it's going to open up every case, I believe. They want to
I
know
hope
all the
so.
details and have it analyzed. You have to. Now, the innocents, I'm not calling them lower tier, but the hands-on medical people who help the patients. A lot of them I know, the nurses, and a lot of them when in the huddles and when hysterical crying because they were going against what they knew was right. And that's fucked up. That's fucked up that they stated, I'm sorry. And it's fucked up that you did something to harm another person when you knew it wasn't right. You're a good person. There's many reasons why I can't even imagine, but anyway. So I think a lot of that's going to come out, not tomorrow, but it has to be looked at, because we have to look at the people. I know people's husbands, people that died, that went through that scenario, that it got COVID. How do you diagnose COVID? It was a brand new goddamn thing that happened. I mean, how did that even happen? It's just such a weird angle they put on people to terrify you, because you are afraid of dying and you're afraid that you were going to be dead through the virus. It's such a sick thing that they did to us. But I just want to try to have a little compassion for our medical people who are wonderful, who really believed in it. You got to remember, they come from an educational system that was already manipulated for them. And there has been a lot of good with, laparoscopics and bone repair. And on the other end, if the pharmaceutical companies are picking your presidents, and if they're telling the administration and the board of directors on your hospital staff, I mean, that's like a well-greased run program that has nothing to do to help you live a better, healthier life. I think very evil people have certain tier positions, and I think that's what supposedly we believe is being broken down. But I go on a rant, and I'm sorry. It's the New Yorker in me, and let me
Well, when
just.
my son-in-law worked in intensive care for a while, and he would not agree with the doctor and their protocol, and he wouldn't do it. And then it would go to a board or whatever the next day, and he won every time
Right,
because he would go
right,
against that doctor, and he didn't give a shit because he knows better. And
exactly.
Some
I,
people are winning lawsuits. A woman just got awarded 12 million. I want to say it was Ohio, but I'm not sure. But they lost their job because they wouldn't get the shot, and they sued, and they just got awarded $12 million.
great.
So
Yeah, I had to do an
hopefully that we're
exemption.
going to see more of that,
Of
because
course.
so many people were threatened. And I know I have friends of mine that are retired nurses, and one in particular worked at the St. Joseph Hospital in Florida, and she took care of preemie babies. And she shared some of the things that went on, and she ended up resigning because she said they wanted to start giving more shots to the infants, and these preemies were too weak. But yet there were doctors and nurses lined up like, let's give them a shot. And then parents trusting the doctors and the nurses, and let that happen. And case in point, last week I was in a print shop, and the woman there, she brings her child to work, and he's like 3 now, but I kind of sensed about a year ago that something wasn't right with him. And she was waiting on me at the counter, and he was like in a little play area playing with his toys. And she said something about, because I said, how's he doing it? He's getting big, that type of conversation. And he's a sweet boy. And she said, well, he's doing good. We're going to a new doctor for autism. And, he doesn't like going to the doctors when they give him the shots. And that's the first thing that came to my mind, that said, she probably doesn't know, and she's not researched that he may have had a shot that is why he's got autism.
Right. He's been brain damaged. Let's just call it what it is.
My brother,
Well, let's
who's
look at something. I'm a medical biller too. So the codes, the system changed from verbiage. Computers only eat digits, okay? So they changed all of the billing to digits. So you're going to tell me because we're such brilliant people here in America and around the world. We're brilliant, right? We're so smart. You're going to tell me that they could tell you a new strand of a flu virus because they took your blood work. We're going to change the flu vaccine because this is the new strand. They're right on top of that, aren't they? I mean, every year. So you're going to tell me for 30 years, the same diagnosis and problems came up for our children, and no one set an alarm bell? That code was put into the data research, that it was so overwhelming that no one decided to look into it. Where are all these diagnoses coming from? They'll be the first to tell you about a virus. Don't travel. You can get you can get this virus, right? I mean, they know it right away. What came through the emergency, urgent care, the hospital, they're on top of that. But for 30 years, we
More,
had the
Donna.
sickest children in America. How is that conceivable?
My
Mhm.
64-year-old brother has a 33-year-old autistic son,
Okay,
and
and
he was
my
just put
kids
in.
have all their friends have children. Do you know if you put 5 groups of family together, you have 3 sets that have children with autism?
We've got
That's
3
how key it
generations
gets.
with it.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what does that say about us brilliant, intelligent people that live on this planet? If you were buzzing by, would you want to stop here? Just know that the kids are sick, that there's hatred, there's rape and murder of people. You're not protected by your legal and your legal representatives. That they're all have their hands tied, or maybe they're blackmailed, whatever all that might even be. But as an adult, again, coming to the conferences and being on these podcasts, we have a huge responsibility here because common sense is telling us that if that data amount of data diagnoses came in and all these kids have the same diagnosis and not one physician, not one researcher, not one news media, not one lawsuit, except for a little bit recently with the Robert Kennedy and people talking about it more, people having going to concierge pediatricians now. Should I, should not? What happened? Like, what is my DNA, my chemistry? What doesn't work with that vaccine? We're talking about it now. But where was everybody when this was happening? You're so
Well,
quick to tell me what the flu vaccine needs to be, but no one was putting that out there about the chronic, huge amount of diagnoses that went into our universal database. I
yeah.
think there's something very wrong with that.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, look at the people that did speak out. Andrew Wakefield, Dale Bigtree, Judy Mikovits has been talking about this stuff for years. They've all been shut down. Trump came out, didn't he, that autism speech with RFK, and said, I've been waiting 20 years to make this. You know, this has been so ingrained and indoctrinated into the system that the good guys they've had a job to undo it, but they're undoing it all the time. And, you know, do have hope that there is still 641,930 sealed indictments. If you can get 99 names on each of those, that's 63.5 million arrests potentially worldwide. And I'm sure all these people are being tracked. And like you said, Donna, there's a lot of people in this system. Robert Davis Steele said it, didn't it? 90% of the people that work in these, whether it's, you know, in intelligence, police and all that, they're all trapped in this corrupt system, and the medical industry as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people, potentially the people more at the top and the people at the bottom, that have been ordered to do things that they don't know what they're doing. You know?
Let me tell you, I was 26. I had an injury. I had ruptured a disc in my back and herniated another one. Anyway, I was going to the chiropractor on a regular basis. And there was a little girl in there, about 12 years old, who was visibly, you know, I didn't really know the term autistic, you know, but I thought she was retarded because that's the word we used to use. But there was something about her, you know, she wasn't acting age appropriate. You know, she was like a little baby. And I went in and I got treated, and I said to the chiropractor, who was very naturalistic, and I said, you know, that those parents are always here every time I come. They're always here, and that, you know, with their little girl. And she looked at me with like a rage in her face. She said, that little girl was brain damaged from vaccines. They're poison. They're killing our kids. And I was like, still had that mindset. I didn't know about this. I'm thinking is she a loon? Because I didn't do any research, you know, and I'm like listening to her, but the other half of me is like in this denial, like, how could that be? You know, all this stuff is happening so fast. I'm not really processing. Wouldn't you know, okay, to my negative position, 2004, I have a baby that I spent 5 years trying to conceive, totally healthy. And what do? Of course, I asked them to break everything up and space it out and all that, but I still was brainwashed that that's what you do.
Right.
And by the just sheer luck of God, she wasn't brain damaged, but I can tell you there's a lot of things with her health that I'm sure have to do with that.
Excuse me, Timbo, you got
Yes.
very red. Are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you got hot. I was just worried about
Maybe I
I don't
shifted.
know.
Maybe I shifted my lights or something.
Oh, okay. As long as you're okay.
It is warm
Getting
in here,
worried.
but I got to open that door. But
Oh,
well,
okay. Okay.
I wanted to build on something you had said before, but I almost forgot. But it was about what you had said about the medical industry and the good people in it, and it kind of goes back to what Robert David Steele had said about the certain government agencies too, about good people. I just since the last time I had a hernia operation about a week and a half ago, and it was a good one. It was a large hernia, and through my experience of going through what I was always, well, not always, but what I feared, the medical industrial complex, I didn't have a choice because I was immobile. So I had to conquer and face my fears and go through all this testing, the EKG, the Of the 18 or 20 people I encountered, all from receptionist to the girl who takes the phlebotomist to the such nice, respectful, funny people with good hearts in a bad system. And it was just so, and with the good, with the bad, this was done robotically. I'm blessed and been so fortunate my whole life to have never had to have a scheduled intervention. Yeah, I broke my wrist, I got nailed, but going through this was a minor miracle. I have 3 red dots on my belly from where I was stabbed with robot arms and all this stuff. Had my intestines put back in place, all incredible. No pain. They gave me a prescription for some medication that oh, it's new, and and my mom and I looked at each other and were like, nah. So just Tylenol, and I am about 80%. This was a big deal. This was like if hernias came in stages, it would have been like a 4.
Wow.
It was good side, but everything. The people were so nice. The technology that has come along with the bad and the medications and the drugs and all that, but right alongside of that has come leaps and bounds with good things. And like I said, there were maybe 2 nurses that I came across during the experience that weren't unfriendly. I was able to get a smile, but they were just business. Okay. And one of them was the CAT scan. Okay, just get in. And I'm like, whoa, okay, wait. But they weren't unfriendly. They were just, this is my job and I'm doing my job. But everyone else was kind and gracious and had a sense of humor. And what I tried to do with every one of them I encountered, if they had a little trinket on their desk, oh, what's up with the little duck you got? You like that? To reach beyond the persona of the business nurse, or to the soul, to the spirit in the person. Because I also realize these people come across all kinds of different personalities every day. So probably their initial that they always start off with is defense. because I don't know who I'm dealing with here. But to reach in and tickle a heart, to get a smile, to get a laugh, to get a chuckle, it means the world. That can pave the entire rest of your adventure with these people, and not these people. I didn't mean to say that. With these other fellow souls that are here in this realm, also to reach in to try to touch that really makes a tremendous difference, and it helped me overcome my fear and anxiety. And overall, when I first realized I had to do this, I was scared to death, but I researched, found the surgeon I wanted months of, and I'm very blessed and lucky that it was a pleasant experience. But it was along the, I'll just wrap up, but along with all of the horrors that are in the medical industrial complex, there are also many good things that are right side by side with all that. And with that, I yield.
That's great. You saw that side of it, which is wonderful.
I had
Can I tell you guys one more thing?
Sure.
In 4 years ago, I had colitis so bad I was in the hospital 2 days. They wanted to do all this crap to me, like colonoscopy and all this crap, and I know better. I didn't want them touching me, so I started researching ivermectin. Jason Q sent me my first free tube. I told him I was scared, but he sent me a tube he had. And I watched this thing on Telegram. It's called Dirt Road Discussions. And all these people would call in with their testimonials of how they were getting off all these drugs. And it was healing this, that, and the other thing. And so I got brave and I did it. And every day I would tell myself, I'm healing. I was in so much pain, you guys. I'm healing. I feel so much better. I would tell myself this every day. And I swear to God, I cured myself, you guys. It's the power of our mind.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Q is out there. Q is out there for us to manifest this. All of us that believe in that are going to manifest this to be true.
Yes, we are.
So,
yes. Yes.
Well, you are your thoughts, don't you think?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
And so every day of the battle with myself, because I wake up with depression every day, but I have to change my way of thinking every day. I mean, I wake up in dread, and it's horrible, but I get out of it.
Maybe you're waking up like that because you're bit by the dark who wants to make you feel that way. Your power of light and what you resonate with is shifting so much. You're speaking about to me, you sound like a woman who is resonating with the current of love. And I think all of us,
I'm an
myself, I
empath.
could say, there's always a psychological darkness that will come in, and I have to kick the shit out of it. Sometimes I have to just say, well, what am I afraid of? What is this message about? Let me just have a purge and get it out of my body, whether it's a good cry, a laugh, or just silence. Because there is I feel an energy that we are up against every single day that wants to make your day shitty or wants you to have doubt about who you are. That's a conversation that came in. Who knows where that came in for us, but it's there. You have to say, I don't agree with you. Get out of my life. I'm not listening to this. I'm going in this direction. And you suddenly start to feel a little bit better. I think we have to understand, like, what is even depression? What are the thoughts? Why are you gloomed? Why are you being held down? It's really your own
It's just
fear
it's a
someplace, I
pattern.
think.
Yeah, it's a pattern, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you're definitely talking like someone who's on the verge of a major breakthrough. And I am so excited to meet you today because
Well,
you
I would
not
love to
only
meet.
met a local person, the understanding of why you're being held back is because you're about to have a major breakthrough that is going to ignite you. And that's the only thing you tell yourself. This is going to pass. I'm on a verge of a major breakthrough. I'm going to survive this. I'm meeting more people. I'm actually on a podcast, still shy to show my face, but you're here. Do you see the improvements of your so-called depression? Do you see what's ahead for you?
Well, I know it's going to be great because I changed my thoughts immediately to what I want, and I
That's
want
it.
what we're promised, what we deserve as humanity, and I know it's coming. I keep
Yeah.
telling everybody it's going to be beautiful.
Oh, it is. We might have
I
to go
think the
through a bit of
best thing
shit.
about that, I just want to finish up with her for 1 second. I think we could say what we say, but people read how we behave. people read our energy. So we can say we're this way, but it's really what's being picked up about us in our energy field. So you could say all of that, but if people know that you're still suffering with depression, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We all get depressed. We all have giggles, okay? If you're saying that, but you're not living in the light, like fully living in it, you could psychologically and verbally say that to us. You got to bring that inside. You have to really feel it and get up and say, I'm going to sit outside today because I believe in the love of light and I'm not going to be in this mode anymore. You know, it's going to be when they watch your behavior and how you treat yourself, how you treat another person. It's not the words we use, it's how we interact with other human beings, what our moral compass is about.
I need
So
to
I
be your
think
friend, Donna.
you are my friend. You
We're all
could,
I
friends.
mean, like to talk to you
yeah.
on the phone and stuff, you know, you're encouraging.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, we're all friends in here, and
Yep.
maybe you're actually a super soldier, and every night while you think you're asleep, you're out there fighting reptilians for
And
the
you're
cause.
exhausted
So,
the next day. You had such a battle. You could
yeah,
be, you're right, Stu. There you go.
exactly.
Hmm.
So we've got a new guest coming in.
Hey, I wasn't going to come on because I'm getting over a rotten cold. But I wanted to just say thank you to you two. Ellen from Truth Teller Tales is the one who told me about you guys a few months ago. And I love her and she's so great. But your conversation, you know, the thing is, this is what it's about. It's very important to have a lot of conversations. I missed a little gap here because I had to step off for a few minutes. So I'm going to go back and rewind. But yeah, you were talking about energy and talking about the medical, like we've gone through so much. We have to also be very, and that's probably why I've got a cold. We've got to really be caring to ourselves because if you really think about everything we've gone through and, you know, back in the day when it first started and they said the hospitals were so full and, you know, the old lady next door had a problem with her tooth and she says, oh my God, I'm so afraid to go. I go, don't be afraid. She came back and she said, no one was there. I said, I know, because they're trying to scare you. They don't want you to be in here. They want to give off other, and you know, we can talk about that because you guys have, you know, a different view on looking at things. But if you tell people, like Donna was saying earlier, like, or it could have even been Misty about how people are still, I think it was Misty about people are still sleeping. They're still brave. It's so true. Like we're so foreign to these people. They look at us like we're trying to, how would we try to be hurting you by trying to say that what they're saying is so fearful and be away from that? Anything that's fearful is going to create you to be weaker in whatever life you're living. And I just think that people like you guys, these conversations, I shared it everywhere. I was suspended on Twitter because I share so much and everything I share is positive. I don't have any regrets. I don't have any regrets about, you know, what I've shared and whatever, because, you know, I posted in the comments here about how they say ignorance is bliss. Are you kidding? Ignorance is what made us stupid. Ignorance isn't bliss. Ignorance is what they want us to become. They brainwash you. And, you know, as far as the new age stuff, like I'll say this, like I'm a medium, but the thing is, all that stuff they've shut down and made fun of is what they're afraid of because they don't want you to be aware. And really, what does a medium mean? It means you're connected to something a little bit outside of where we are now. We all are, but they've put so many boundaries and blockages around us to make us afraid. And what your the last story you were talking about, the medical field, you know, I know so many people, I know they're doing great things. I know the thing is, it's sad because they're under this umbrella. But to me, I love everyone who's out there helping. But if you knew at all what you were doing was wrong and you still did it, I have no respect. I have no respect. And I'll just finish off because I can talk for days. But Stewie, thank you so much for inviting me last night because we were on a live together or a podcast. And I'm so glad I came over here. Because your conversation was so great. And I think Donna, she would be great to uplift a lot of people and just say, you know, the thing is someone say, why are you so upbeat? Why you do it for yourself. I know it's hard. People suffer depression, anxiety. I'll give you one last thing. They say, if you look too far behind, you will always be depressed. If you look too far ahead, you will be anxious. We only have this second, me talking to you guys, which is great. You guys are wonderful people. And I'm lucky, you know, my husband, even if he's not on the same page with a lot of things, so supportive. My adult children make fun of me, tell me I should go to some kind of, help. Not my girls, but my son does, jokingly, of course. But they support me. And I'll be honest, I think I would have dug deep to find that support for myself. But having people were isolated and alone. They created so much freaking division. We do have to stand up and be angry and not be afraid of showing our feelings about what we just went through, because we went through a lot of shit psychologically, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. And, that's why I keep sharing everything I can. And if they keep blocking me, well, guess what? I'm going to still do it. And unfortunately, sometimes the people that block you could be people that you know. And that's the sad part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we all know that. Look, it's vitally important that everyone stays in love, lives in the moment, and does not live in fear, because fear is only the thought of what could happen that may actually never happen. Now, I just want to ask you quickly about your journey. But before that, obviously, you said Ellen told you about us. And did you watch the interview we did with Ellen? Because we went on her show, and then the following day,
I saw yours on her show. I saw it on your show. Yeah.
And then Ellen and Trish were amazing. So yeah, we love those guys. So how did your awakening happen, and how's your journey been?
Okay, well, Stu, the thing is, for me, my whole life, my entire life, ever since I was little, I always questioned things. I was always the oddball out. Everyone loves you and they're like so supportive in what you do. But as soon as you ask a question, they're like, oh my God, don't be crazy. That can't be. And, the Truman Show, I love that movie for this reason, especially. I used to say to people, we live like this. Like, it doesn't matter where I live in my house. I look outside, we're all in these square boxes. Like, to me, it always felt unnatural. It felt weird. Like we're all in tuna cans. And so for me, my whole life through COVID, as far as getting vaccinated and all that stuff, like I didn't let my kids get vaccinated with certain things in school and was totally penalized for that too. In the end, I feel like even the ones that were, don't be afraid. Think of all the modalities that people have out there for you to help yourself. We could be the ones that, some of the people, this is what becomes the division. Some of the people on our side, Stu, that believe in what we believe in, they're like, oh yeah, well, I was there and you didn't help me and what. No, it's not about that. Do you, be positive. For me, my whole life, even though I believed in what I believed in and I never believed in what was going on, that was truthful. Even 9/11, like I was home. I just had my third child. I was sitting there going, oh my God, is that really going on? Like, are you kidding? And meanwhile, I had pregnancy hormone. Maybe that helped because I was not believing in this stuff. And I was scared. I was scared for sure, because with this comes other things too. It's not just about, it's all peach. Because people say, what do you think? You think nothing's really going on? I go, well, no, I don't know what to think, because we don't know everything. And I'll always say, I don't know anything, but I do know how I feel. And that's all I can go by. A lot of things, all the science fiction, all that. I love all that stuff. That stuff all gravitated to me. I love the power heroes because I believe that we all have these kinds of, wonderful gifts that we were given. And for some reason, we've all gone dormant because they don't want us to know anything. And I think that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of us and going into all that other stuff. Our pineal gland, I do a lot of work with Joe Dispenza. I've always followed Wayne Dyer. I was a big part of Hay House, which has to do with Louise Hay. Met her back in the day. Like I've done all those things, and I know now why I did it. I went to conferences in Toronto for John Edward, the psychic medium. I knew him for 22 years. We separated ways through, actually, to be honest, through COVID. I remember certain posts on Twitter. He was very dividing of government beliefs and stuff. But I wasn't even on the government side of it. But I went, ooh, if we're spiritual people, we shouldn't be creating division. And he was a great person. He definitely put me on a journey. And I know now that all that stuff, Stu, that I did with all these amazing other people and authors, I knew, because this is when I was able to be a little calm. I'm Italian. Like, we were born with the hormone, like with the gene to be afraid of everything. You're afraid of your shadow. Like, no fear through COVID. None. I don't know what happened, but I think God is big in this, and I'm not very religious, but I do believe in God, and I believe there's a higher power. And I do believe that someone was saying about how they feel great. Well, I think it was Donna. She was getting emotional in the beginning of the show. And the thing is, it's true. You get emotional because you want to be there for people. You want to help people have a good journey on this, because it's so ugly and scary. But if we can come together like this, even if it's only for 5 minutes or whatever, what a great gift. And my kids too, like, they're adults now. They might steer away and be devil's advocate because you're their mom. And I love that. I encourage it. I don't want you to believe. I have never told one person throughout this time, especially or prior in my life, believe in what I believe in. Never. And I think they hate that even more, because they're like, well, wait a minute. Well, she's saying she doesn't believe in this, but why isn't she pushing me? Because it's your own journey. You just hope that people can open their eyes to all the manipulation that we've been under. It's sad. It's sad. But you guys were great on Ellen, and I hope you go back on. I'm sure she would love that.
Well, Ellen's actually going to be in New York. She's coming to the event, and yeah,
we're good friends, actually. We message each other privately, so I'm so excited for all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to say something again. It's nice to introduce ourselves and see what brought us here. That's very nice. But I think anything that happened a minute ago is irrelevant. I think the only thing that matters is the connected energy is right now, because we only have the future. So what is done, whether we find out the truths and all of that, it's done. Okay, the whole scenario, everything is behind us. Okay, there's a lot to move going forward, but we're really, I believe, here to help everyone that's behind us. We're like the troops on the ground, locked arm in arm and walking and breaking a lot and shattering a lot of unfortunate misguidance and a lot of things that occurred to us as civilians, us here on the planet. So it's not really so much about where we're from. It's about what you see in your future. Our goal is in front of us. So while we're here live, sharing our energy and we're connecting, I find it's very important to keep it positive. Is it really true about all the vaccines? Is it true about many things? What's true is what we feel in our hearts, what we resonate with, and how we get our affirmations to push us going forward. Because everyone, I believe, gets a reminder, something is shown to you, you go in that direction, this is the way you go. And I think it's about putting together our brilliant minds and hearts together, and how we could resonate with our fellow citizens, our fellow human beings. And yeah, we have a lot of stories. Everybody comes with a history. We're not 9 years old. We have a full life behind us. But it's the future is what we're about. It's the present, it's the future. So if we can narrow our conversation as to what would be our goals, what's the positive influence you want to bring, say, to New York or to your community? I think that is our only purpose, because all we have is our love, no ego. It doesn't benefit us. It's sharing the information and the love with fellow citizens, and that's it. I really think it's not complicated. You're not selling anything. We're not pushing anything. We're here because we want to protect our children. And we want to figure out, once again, who wants the children. The predators, whatever the creature is that wants our children, who are behind probably everything we just discussed. Let's bring them to the surface. Let's bring them out. Let's try to do investigative work. Let's just keep talking about, but who's buying the kids? Who wants our children? Why do they want our children? Why aren't they arrested? So I think those are the big questions. What do you think, guys?
It's coming. It's coming. Ornella, I muted you because you had a bit of background noise if you want to chat. Yeah, look, I believe we may not have seen these public arrests, but I believe there's been an awful lot of arrests behind the scenes over these last 10 years. I think a lot of arrests.
What Donna was saying, I think it's so true. Unfortunately, because we're emotional beings, it's hard to set different things aside. And she said 9, so it made me think, like, at 9, my dad died of cancer. Now, he was 39 when he was diagnosed. And I think to myself, everyone comes into this with a different thing. Military, for people, if they really think that maybe their families shouldn't have had to go, and then the unfortunate stuff that happened with all that, and then the PTSD that goes along. It's never ending story. So I think we all come in with an emotional background. It really doesn't matter, because we all do have a story. But for me, I always came into this for the children, because I knew of a lot of things with the children, and that's why I started. But then when you think of all the other stuff too, with the pharmaceuticals, and I saw my dad suffer for 7 years, and so that is something. Actually, I was 3 when he was diagnosed. And that is something I keep close. Am I angry about it? So you're right. You can't worry about, I'm not worried about what's happened, because we can't worry about that anymore. And I do think of our future being a better place. And I'm hopeful for that. But really for me, I think the thing that keeps me strong is literally living in now. We obviously prepare, we have families and children and whatever, and we prepare for what's coming in the next little while. But if you look too far ahead, some people will get caught in a real dangerous understanding, because you do hear what everyone else is saying, and that could get people scared. Don't worry. Do you feel good today? Are you doing good today? Can you change someone's life for better today? Put a smile on their face. That's all, because that will carry you or the other people even further. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day.
This was great. We got so many people today. It was just such a joy to be able to.
I followed it. I shared it like you wouldn't believe, and I know people look at my stuff, so I'm thinking I hope they were able to come over and really love your conversation when I was out for a few minutes. But thank you.
No, that's absolutely amazing. I think that's absolutely a great panel we've had on today, and hopefully what people watching this today will give people the courage to come on next time. Now, I just want to say a couple of things. Because we've got the Awakening Summit coming up, and Elisa and I having a holiday in May, and all these things, I think the next 2 dates, we're not going to be able to do one of these for a month now. So the next 2 dates that I've put in the calendar is May the 9th and May the 30th for our family chat. If Elisa and I can get on and do one while I'm in America or anything like that, we'll put the information out there. I think everyone should watch this. Right, it's called Love Trumps Hate. It's a documentary by Millie Weaver, and it's only 45 minutes long. I will put that in the chat. I do just want to, has everyone got 3 minutes so I could just play this video by Elizabeth April?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think it's quite interesting what I was saying earlier. I can't remember what she said, actually, so.
Okay, so just a heads up, a lot of people are dying right now, and it's coming through either random disappearances or sudden accidents or an extreme health crisis. Just know that if your loved ones are taking these exit points, it is for a reason. And most likely, just putting it out there, I know it's a sensitive subject, but most likely that person is either A, not willing to change and therefore taking an exit point. Remember that all deaths, no matter how accidental they may seem, are chosen exit points. The 2 things in life that are the most predestined are our birth and our exit. So please keep that in mind, that is a soul choice. And a lot of people right now are either coming into massive health crises, or they're having random sort of accidents. And within that state, they have a choice to make. Are you going to stay on this planet and change for the better and become the best version of yourself? Or are you going to take an exit point and essentially reset? So if they do have an accident or a health crisis and they stick around, most likely you're going to see a completely changed and different person for the better. There are also sort of more rare cases of people who are taking exit points, and we're talking the most beautiful souls, like the highest vibrational, the most beautiful service to others individuals are taking really random exit points right now. Like I said, whether accidental or whatnot. And it's because they have done what they came here to do. And in order to avoid any further karmic creation, they are taking an early exit point in order to do the work that they need to do on the other side without limitation and restriction. Do any of you know of anyone right now, maybe you, who are either in a health crisis or have had an accident, or maybe your loved ones or coworkers or neighbors who are just suddenly passing away? Comment below. Okay.
Yeah, I just thought that was quite an interesting video to
Very.
finish up on.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
It's
And this
interesting.
has been amazing. I mean, we
And-
gosh,
and
it went so fast.
We've now got a True Social account, Patriots Across the Pond. So if anyone's on True Social, do please come and follow us there. I shall be looking after that, putting banners up and pictures and seeing if we can go live on there and whatever we can do. But yeah, we're now on True Social. Absolutely amazing. Closing thoughts, anyone? Good. Yeah, go on then.
Before we leave, I just wanted to say that I would love to chat with so many of you at the Awakening Summit that we're having here on Long Island in New York on April the 25th and 26th. It's an intimate setting where we can have more of these discussions. And I would really, really love for more of you to, there are a few tickets left. So if you want to come and go on our website and buy yourself a ticket, it's very reasonably priced. I know how expensive, how hard living is right now for everybody. It's very expensive across the board. But I think this is a gift to yourself and to your community. And, you know, I just love chatting with people. So I think it would be really great if we could do some of that this April, the 25th and 26th in Limbrook, Long Island, New York. And thank you, Stu and Elise, for inviting me. And I loved your show, as I always do. And I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you for joining us. It's been amazing today. Timbo?
I'd like to thank you both also, and I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks and shaking your hands and giving you hugs. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of this beautiful day. And God bless everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's amazing. Thank you, everyone. What a superb show. And we shall see you soon.
Yes, where we go one, we go all.
God bless.
Let's do it.
You can just talk for a minute because I haven't put an outro video on yet.
Okay. Yeah, no, just we will we're getting really close. So
I know.
I can't wait to hang with everyone. It's gonna be great.
But we don't want to push time any faster at the same time.
No. Well,
yeah, we can push the next week fast and then slow it down for the 2 weeks after that.
Oh, I need this time. There's a lot of little things we have to do, which are not all that little, right, Elisa?
absolutely. Yeah. But I am going to go enjoy the Long Beach Boardwalk today. So
I think I'm going to go down and see you maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Brilliant.
Bye, everybody. Thank you again.
Take care, everyone. And we'll see you on Monday. Keep your eyes on the Rumble and Telegram channels, and all the schedule will be out for next week and the 3 upcoming videos and stuff. So where we go, one we go all. Love you all.
Good afternoon.
Take care. Bye.
This is the difference between the power of our Creator and anything else, particularly evil. That you can go into a pitch black room full of evil, full of darkness, and light a little candle, and instantly that darkness flees. But you can't do the opposite. You can't go into a well-lit room full of truth and wisdom and righteousness and joy and health and harmony with the universal power. And you can't take any amount of darkness and go into that well-lit room and have any effect whatsoever. That is the metaphor which I frequently think of when I think that I'm not empowered. It is the greatest lesson for me, and I think for everybody else, to know that we're on the winning side and that we win in the end.